Diary entry day 1, July 24th, 1724. The dawn broke with a golden hue, casting its light through the small, salt-crusted window of my cabin. The gentle rocking of the Kraken's revenge was a familiar comfort, but today it felt like the call of adventure itself. I awoke with a sense of purpose, my eyes drawn to the trusted compass on my bedside table, its needle pointing unwaveringly towards the horizon. With a groan, I swung my legs over the side of my bunk and stood, stretching my muscles that had grown stiff from the night. My cabin, though modest, was filled with the trinkets and maps that spoke of countless voyages and untold treasures. A portrait of the Kraken's Revenge, my beloved ship, hung proudly on the wall, a constant reminder of the vessel that had carried me through storm and battle alike. I reached for my diary, a leather-bound tome that held the secrets of my journeys. Flipping it open to a fresh page, I dipped my quill in ink and began to write. July 24th, 1724, I penned, the ink flowing smoothly. Today we set sail on a quest that promises both peril and fortune. The Kraken's Revenge is ready, her crew eager, and my heart filled with the fire of adventure. Our destination, the lost gold of Shanks. I paused, my mind drifting to the legend of Shanks, a pirate whose treasure had been lost to the sands of time. The promise of gold was enough to stir any man's soul, but for me, it was the thrill of the hunt that truly called to me. With a determined nod, I closed the diary and tucked it safely away. It was time to prepare the ship for departure. I donned my captain's coat, the fabric worn but sturdy, and strapped my cutlass to my side. The weight of the blade was a comforting presence, a reminder of the battles I had fought and won. Stepping out onto the deck, the salty sea breeze greeted me like an old friend. The crew was already bustling about, their movements a well-rehearsed dance of preparation. Sails were being unfurled, ropes coiled, and barrels of provisions secured. The Kraken's Revenge was a hive of activity, each man knowing his role and performing it with precision. "Morning, Captain," came a voice from behind me. I turned to see my first mate, David Lateman, approaching. David was a tall, broad-shouldered man with a perpetual grin and a twinkle in his eye that spoke of mischief and loyalty in equal measure. "Morning, David," I replied, clapping him on the shoulder. "Are we ready to set sail?" "Aye, Captain," David said with a nod. "The crew's eager and the ship's in fine shape. We'll be ready to cast off within the hour." "Good," I said, my gaze sweeping over the deck. "Make sure the men know what's at stake. This isn't just another voyage. We're after Shanks' gold, and I won't have any slackers on my ship." David's grin widened. "Aye, Captain, I'll see to it." As David moved off to relay my orders, I took a moment to savour the scene before me. The Kraken's Revenge was more than just a ship. It was my home, my sanctuary, and my weapon against the unknown. "All hands on deck!" I called out, my voice carrying across the ship. The crew snapped to attention, their eyes fixed on their captain. "Today we set sail for glory and gold. The legend of Shanks awaits, and we will not rest until his treasure is ours." A cheer rose up from the men, their voices a chorus of determination and excitement. I felt a surge of pride as I looked at their faces, each one reflecting the same hunger for adventure that burned within me. "Raise the anchor," I commanded. "Unfurl the sails. Let's show the world what the Kraken's Revenge is made of." The crew sprang into action, their movements swift and coordinated. The anchor was hauled up, the sails billowed out, and the ship began to glide forward, cutting through the water with grace and power. As the Kraken's Revenge left the harbour behind, I felt a sense of exhilaration wash over me. The open sea stretched out before us, a vast expanse of possibility and danger. But I was ready for whatever lay ahead. With my loyal crew by my side and the promise of Shanks's gold guiding me, there was nothing I couldn't conquer. I glanced over at David, who was standing nearby, his eyes fixed on the horizon. Later that day, the sun had climbed higher, casting its warm glow over the bustling harbour. The Kraken's Revenge cut through the water with grace and power, her sails billowing in the wind. The crew moved with practiced efficiency, each man performing his duties with precision. David approached me again, his expression serious. Captain, we've received word from the lookout. There's a ship on the horizon flying no colours. I frowned, considering the possibilities. Could be a merchant or it could be trouble. Keep an eye on it and make sure the men are ready for anything. David nodded and moved off to relay my orders. I watched him go, feeling a surge of pride. He was a good first mate, loyal and capable. I knew I could trust him with my life. As the day wore on, the ship on the horizon grew closer. It was a sleek vessel, built for speed. I could see men moving about on deck, but they made no move to approach us. "Captain, they're holding their course," David reported. "No sign of aggression. Keep watching," I said, "but don't let your guard down." The hours passed and the mysterious ship continued to shadow us. I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched, but there was nothing to be done about it. We had a mission, and I wouldn't let anything distract us from our goal. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the water, I gathered the crew on deck. "Men, we've had a good start to our journey, but there's a long way to go. Stay sharp and remember what's at stake. The legend of Shank's gold awaits, and we will not rest until it's ours." A cheer rose up from the men, their voices filled with determination and excitement. I felt a surge of pride as I looked at their faces, each one reflecting the same hunger for adventure that burned within me. "All right, back to your posts," I commanded, "and keep an eye on that ship. We don't know what their intentions are, and I won't have us caught off guard." The men dispersed, returning to their duties with renewed vigor. I remained at the helm, my eyes scanning the horizon. The mysterious ship was still there, a silent shadow on the edge of our vision. I couldn't help but wonder who they were and what they wanted. As night fell, the stars emerged, twinkling like diamonds against the velvet sky. The Kraken's Revenge sailed on, her course set for the unknown. I felt a sense of anticipation building within me. The journey ahead would be challenging, but I was ready for whatever lay in store. I returned to my cabin, the day's events swirling in my mind. Sitting at my desk, I opened my diary once more and began to write. July 24th, 1724, I penned. "The first day of our quest has been filled with promise and mystery. The crew is eager, the ship is ready, and the legend of Shank's gold beckons us onward. A mysterious ship shadows us, its intentions unknown. We sail into the night, our hearts filled with the fire of adventure. Whatever lies ahead, we will face it together, as a crew, as a family." I closed the diary, feeling a sense of satisfaction. The journey had begun, and the Kraken's Revenge was on her way to glory and gold. The legend of Shanks awaited, and I knew that with my loyal crew by my side, there was nothing we couldn't achieve. The adventure of a lifetime had just begun, and I was ready to embrace it with all my heart.